And this is the sort of living area?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're selling it with the units and so on?
Yeah, absolutely as it is, yes.
Yeah. Having ultra-modern, fully fitted kitchen with generous cupboard space, the decoration is in impeccable taste and excellent condition, the whole giving an air of great spaciousness. This is a fine property, affording every comfort to the most discerning of purchaser and constituting a very rare opportunity to acquire a truly charming home in sought-after... Which one's this again?
Bolsover Street.
Ah, yes. Bolsover Street. The earliest viewing is highly recommended. Trouble is, there's quite a few of these places about at the moment.
Ah.
Bit of a glut of these ordinary terrace properties just now.
Oh.
And these units, I mean, they're nice, not being rude, but they're not fabulously expensive, are they?
Oh, no.
I mean, they're not made by some unpronounceable German or Danish mob with a name that sounds like a bath emptying.
No.
Some people seem to want kitchens that look like the flight deck of Concorde these days.
Yes.
You do the decoration?
Yes. Well, my wife and I.
Still, there's always a market for a 4-bedroomed house like this. You know, in fair nick.
3 bedrooms?
Oh, we saw 4. That little room counts as a bedroom.
Well, there is a problem in describing that room as a bedroom.
What's that?
You couldn't get a bed in it.
Well, little bed. Kid's bed, you know, cots and so on.
Well, yes.
Oh, yes. 4 bedrooms. Oh, how'd you get on with that flat list? Anything of interest?
Yeah, this one in School Lane, the one with the very spacious rooms.
Very spacious.
I'm sorry, spacious.
Ah, spacious. Yes, they are spacious, oh yes.
Could I swing a cat in them?
What size of cat had you in mind, Mr. Roth?
Yes, I see.
Sit down, Mr. Roth.
Thank you.
Let me explain the situation. I'm an estate agent.
Yes.
Now, on the one hand, I don't want to send you to look at a property which I know isn't suitable, for you to think it's a waste of time and not come back.
On the other hand...
I'm an estate agent.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Well, we're famous for it, aren't we? Let's be frank. If I describe a house as a charming period residence retaining many of its original features and offering a prospective purchaser limitless potential, what sort of place do you visualize?
A derelict slum?
Well, there you are, then. Shouldn't have any trouble with that list at all.
Yes. Oh, look, you haven't seen the garden?
Oh, no, I forgot. Also has the advantage of large, well-tended... Oh. You're not the keenest of gardeners, Mr. Roth.
No.
Also has the advantage of large, fertile garden.
Offering the prospective purchaser limitless potential?
The very phrase.
What's he doing, do you say?
He's thinking of moving.
Seeing an estate agent today.
An estate agent? Our floors have settled.
Floors?
Settled?
We took up the shag pile in the bedroom. It was nylon, you see, and was giving out more electricity than Battersea Power Station. When the time came for the small hours pad along to the loo, there were great blue flashes when I put my feet on. I never liked it anyway. It was a slippery green colour. Alice chose it. It was like sleeping in a field of astroturf. Eventually I cracked, stuck out for a Berber, 80% wool. I love feeling all those sheep underneath my feet. With a healthy dash of polypropylene as a concession to economy.
Did Alice like that?
She complained bitterly that it was heavy domestic when we only needed bedroom quality.
Oh, well, that's all to the good, surely.
Too good. Suddenly occurred to her that it might see her out, you see. That's what's behind it. Made her feel bleak looking at her last bedroom carpet. For a moment, she glimpsed the void.
What?
Anyway, I faced her down, stuck to my guns, up came the shag pile and revealed a gap beneath the skirting on one side. We have a bedroom on a hill. Explains why Alice keeps rolling on to me in the dead of night. I knew it wasn't physical lust.
Well, isn't that dangerous?
No, Alice isn't that heavy.
No, I mean the settling.
No, not according to my surveyor. Apparently things do just sag a little bit after a time. It's not important. Wish my doctor was like my surveyor. According to him, my sag will see me off long before any carpet. Oh, well. I can't read this, you know. It's not like handwriting at all. It's like a wiring diagram. When I can make it out, the grammar's well-nigh senseless. It's like those instructions you get with Korean calculators. She is English, isn't she?
Who?
That temp. The one with the E.T. leg warmers. Trixie.
Well, I think so.
Well, I don't know. Will he, why is he moving then?
Well, he only needs a flat now, since the divorce.
Oh, yes. Will he be in this afternoon?
No, he's seeing his shrink then.
Oh, yes. Well, it doesn't make much difference, does it? I mean, he doesn't do any work when he's here.
Well, that's certainly true.
Small-minded cretin.
Yes.
Such a self-satisfied prat.
Yes.
I mean, Roth might be the most useless, talentless, bone-idle little creep I've ever encountered.
Yes?
Well, he is. At least he's got the nous to despise himself. That little crawler thinks he's doing rather well in life because he's bought a hover mower.
No. Quite definitely. That's all right. Bye-bye. Sorry about that.
Oh, not at all.
This new receptionist is absolutely useless. Never there. Always out on some useless errand, and you have to answer your own phone. It's quite impossible. You know, I've got a patient here, quietly breaking down. The whole mental and emotional stability resting delicately in my hands, the most critical moment, and the bloody phone goes. Half the time it's this Gretchen woman herself. Would I like pink or green bog rolls in a patient's loo?
Gretchen?
Well, it's something like that. Alexandra, Trudy, one of those. I'm terrible with names. Oh, she's an absolute disaster. Sends people all over the place, indiscriminately.
What do you mean?
Well, you look in the book, you know who you're expecting next. A chap walks in, obviously you think he's the next patient. The other day, I asked this fellow the most intimate questions about his early sex life, his feelings for his father and his relations with his wife. Turns out he's come to sell the hypnotherapist next door a photocopier.
Dear.
Well, he answered everything I asked him. It was most embarrassing.
Yes.
It was bloody embarrassing, I can tell you. In the end, I bought the wretched photocopier. Well, I felt it was the least I could do. Oh, it's appalling. I mean, Mr. Sunto, upstairs, you know, the acupuncturist. I mean, he's a boat person. He can't speak a word of English. He's been sticking pins in the cleaning lady for a week. Thank God she's only a temp. Stephanie, that's her name.
That was her, was it?
Oh, no, that was a chap who was a bit anxious, you know, and I had to reassure him.
Therapy by telephone, eh?
What? Oh, I see. No. Oh, no. He's anxious because I haven't paid his bill. And I reassured him by saying his cheque is in the post.
Oh, I see.
It isn't, of course. If I wrote his cheque, my bank manager would have a terminal anxiety attack.
Oh, dear, business is bad, is it?
Business? My God. There are 3 big overdrafts in the world at the moment. Poland's, Mexico's, and mine. I mean, I'm seeing so few people now. Well, it's a recession, I suppose.
Well, no, you see, I'd have thought...
You see, all last year, there were hundreds of people all worried about losing their jobs.
And now they're not worried?
Well, no, now they've lost them. But it doesn't end there. Here am I, a psychoanalyst. My life is devoted to relieving their worries. And their main worry at the moment is that they can't pay my bill. Well, I'm aware of this, so I'm sitting here worried that I won't be paid.
Yes.
Well, I've got my living to make.
Well, of course, yes.
But I'm also concerned for their concern.
Yes.
As doubtless they are for mine.
Yes.
So the air is charged with anxiety. You know, I mean, before we even begin getting down to childhoods, bad dreams, primal fears, and bedwetting. Oh, dear, I don't know. If I hadn't had a great tax rebate the other day, things would be a bit bleak, I can tell you. God, I feel guilty about that.
In what way?
Well, my accountant, you know. I mean, he massages more figures than a sauna bath assistant. I mean, I come here on the tube. I catch the bus to the hospital twice a week.
Yes.
Well, I hardly drive my car at all.
No.
Well, according to my tax return, I'm using more fuel than a flying doctor.
I see.
I had an accountant as a patient once. He told me that he filed his clients' accounts under fiction and non-fiction.
And this worries you, does it?
Well, yes, to be frank. It's like that estate agent of yours. I'm sort of forced into it, you know. I mean, doesn't it bother you?
Oh, well, I don't have the problem, you see. I'm on PAYE, so they simply take my salary each week, keep most of it, and give me a bit of spending money.
Well, this is it. But, I mean, the worst part is the pantomime we have to go through. You know, I give him all the stuff. He looks at it. After a bit, he says, "These seem very modest figures, Mr. Collins. Stationery, for instance, or whatever it is. Are you sure you only spend this amount?" You know. And I have to say, feeling a perfect bloody fool, "Well, now you come to mention it," then he beams all over his face and starts sprinkling noughts all over my tax return. I go in a pauper and I come out with enough for Gerald and me to have a 15-day holiday in Tashkent. I don't know.
Tashkent?
Oh, we never go anywhere normal. It's always Sierra Leone, Manila, Iceland. We went to Burma one year. God, I got gastroenteritis. Life's bad enough at the best of times, if you ask me, but when you've got the runs in Rangoon, it's a very long way from the barrel of laughs, I can tell you.
Yes.
I do have a guilt problem, though, I know. This is what is wrong with VAT.
Yes, well, I've yet to find out what's right with VAT.
Oh, well, quite. But we're always aware, you know, that there's this thing we haven't done. It's a permanent sin of omission. VAT guilt. Oh, it's a new species of guilt complex. I'm working on a paper at the moment. Well, I would be if I wasn't spending all my time on my VAT returns. They have agents, you know.
Agents?
Oh, yes. Very cloak and dagger. People who infiltrate. Oh, there's a case in the paper. Man running a restaurant, one of his waiters was a bloody VAT inspector. You know, weighing the portions, counting the peas. Makes you sick. I fiddle it, you know.
Do you?
Oh, yes. Quite a lot. I hate them. I want to get back at them. I mean, it's insane. I tell you, what with VAT, tax, and this receptionist woman, I've been having quite a time of it. Sorry about this.
It's okay.
Hello! Oh, hello. Oh, no. No. Quite definitely. I posted it, first class, this morning, myself. Yes.
Oh, Ruth, I'd like to have a bit of a chat with our friend, the workaholic here. I wonder...
Oh, yes, of course.
It is important, you know. Sorry to disturb.
No.
I'm worried about the turn things have taken.
Yes.
I've just been in the bank. Stood in the wrong queue for an hour or two, while all the other queues changed personnel about 4 times, and then I'm resigned to that. Eventually I get to the grill, and this 14-year-old cashier snaps yes at me in a way that makes Basil Fawlty look like head of public relations at a charm school. Well, I tell him what I want, about 6 times. He counts out the money, makes a mistake in my favour. I told him about it. It was £5. At last he looked up. A nasty, sullen bit of face peeped at me from behind his acne. He was thunderstruck at my stupidity. But more than that,
He was annoyed.
yes, he was angry with me. I tell you, Ruth, I looked at him. He was wearing a slightly diaphanous 2-button shirt. He had an appalling rag of a tie round his grimy neck. And from the appearance of his fingernails, he works nights as a diesel fitter. What he is saying with every fibre of his being is, I don't want to be a bank clerk.
Well, what does he want to do?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps he has pretensions of being a medical man. He carried out a most thorough internal examination of both nostrils while I was there. I know there's no justice. For God's sake, look at the nurses. Faced down to an outrageous wage. That girl in claims, that temp, the one who hasn't yet got round to inquiring what our national language is so she can commence the process of learning it. Trixie. She gets twice what a nurse earns. Nurses have to have a patience and integrity quite above and beyond.
Yes.
Gets very basic sometimes, you know, a nurse's job.
Yes.
No. This is what's wrong with my son-in-law. You know, the one who shaves everything he can reach except his face. He's reduced to hacking bits off himself and walking around like a savage, because it's the only way he can distinguish himself. I mean, there's no O-level for shoplifting. No one ever got made a Knight of the Bath for services to mugging. But banks... I thought banks were sacrosanct. It's bad news when the Mongol hordes have penetrated this far. And by the way, could you give me a lift to the station after work? My car's in dock.
Yes, of course.
Jolly good. I'll buy you a drink in the Feathers.
Nice of you to look in.
Ah.
You do live in this place, do you?
I'm sorry I'm late.
You're not late. No, you're on the dot. 11:25. 10 minutes legal drinking up time, 10 minutes illegal dalliance, and a 5-minute walk home. You're as reliable as a quartz crystal.
Look, I'm sorry. You see...
I mean, this is old-fashioned, Philip. I feel like Flo Cap. It's boring here in this bloody room on my own, you know? I mean, I've been watching Channel 4.
God, I'm sorry. What was it? Lacrosse semi-finals from Albuquerque?
Nothing as interesting as that. Don't try and wriggle out of it with weak jokes.
No.
I mean, it's perfectly ludicrous. I feel I should stand behind the door with a turban and a rolling pin. This is Donald McGill territory. We are supposed to be having some sort of romance. You know, consideration and affection. You're completely wanting in the first apartment, and you come home too drunk to be of any use in the second.
I'm not drunk.
Then, first thing tomorrow morning, with the alarm about to go off, we'll have your usual burst of passion.
Liz?
When we've both got to go to work. Love-making against the clock. It's like being in training for the 6 Olympics. Apparently, we are entered for the 4-minute nookie contest. Well, this is not what I call a satisfactory state of affairs.
No.
Do you want some coffee?
Yes, please.
We'll bloody well make it, then. I'll have mine black with no sugar. Well, what have you been doing?
I've been with the old man. He got drunk. When he's sober, no one would ever accuse him of being a man of few words. When he's had a couple, he makes Robert Robinson sound like a Trappist monk. He's worried about something medical. He told me about Susie Wong.
What?
Apparently he spent his national service in Hong Kong and he's convinced he left a few strays there. He says every time he reads a calculator instruction book or programs his video, he wonders if his son made it. I think he suspects that the entire Hong Kong economic miracle, which is wiping out our industry, is in fact the revenge of his abandoned offspring. Do you say black or white?
Black.
Did you watch the news at all tonight?
Don't try and strike up an irrelevant conversation with me. Not now. I'm sulking.
Yes.
And I'm going to go on sulking for quite a time yet. The atmosphere in this god-awful room is going to be intolerable.
Why do you keep going on about this room? It's quite nice in here.
Nice.
Well, it's got limitless potential anyway.
Well, there we are then. Things can never be the same again.
What?
In vino veritas. I woke up this morning and said, please, God, don't let me remember anything about last night. My prayer fell on stony ears. I remember everything about last night. You and I have drawn closer together. A secret bond has formed between us. God, how depressing.
Did you get the results of those tests?
Oh, yes. Everything's hunky-dory.
Oh, good.
Beetroot it was.
Beetroot?
Yes. I forgot I had it the day before, you know. Shows up. Can be a bit alarming.
Yes.
Felt a bit silly when I was on the phone.
Oh, well.
I say, all that Susie Wong stuff, you know, last night. I dare say I exaggerated that a bit. I usually do.
Oh, yes, well, I don't really remember much about that, actually, no.
No. God, how depressing.
Ah! Going away?
Well, I was. Gerald got a late booking. 15 days self-catering in Guatemala. But I've got to stay.
Oh, why is that?
I've got to see the customs and excise people.
Oh, what about?
Well, everything. That bloody receptionist woman, Gretchen.
Trudy.
Stephanie. She's a VAT inspector.